getting the pole for race 12 of the 2013 HARC Pro Series season would be William Duncan in the 6 car, who's in just his 4th race of the Pro Series, so great qualifying run for him. Coming down into turn 1, William Duncan would take the lead from Nicholas Defort, but he would slide up and Eric Cesar would get to the inside of him, and he just got turned into the wall by Nicholas Defort on the first corner. He gets hit by several cars, Zachary Brown, Mitch McDonald, and Brock McMahon. Just many of them, the cars that hit him, and he is destroyed. They couldn't even make it through the first corner. Unbelievable. Coming down into turn 2, Kyle Polanini got into Spencer Fullerton, putting Pichu London and Demir Bejianov in the wall, and Zachary Harvick was also collected along with Alex Tanker. Lots of first lap shenanigans today. Even though the caution came out on just the first lap, under caution most of the field came in probably to get new tires with all the debris on the track from the accidents that occurred. The only cars that did not go into the pits were Peter Saviano, Luke Walker, Ben Dover, Connor Breton, and Ron Young, as Connor Breton has just blown a tire. He'll have to come in under the next caution lap to get a new tires. Leading the field back to the green flag would be Peter Saviano in the 33 car with Luke Walker on in the 5 car right behind, and he will go to the inside with a lot of drafting help from Ben Dover, and he would take the lead in turn 1. Luke Walker's lead would be short-lived though, as Ben Dover and Ron Young would both get to the inside and make it 3 wide coming off the corner for first position. Coming through turn 2, the drivers would prove what happens when they go 4 wide at Pocono, as many cars would spin around. Richard Trelinsky, Stephen Henhock involved, Mark Nutt, Andreas Allen. Oh my God, Mark Nutt's airborne. Let's go to Mark Nutt's roof cam. This should be a very wild ride, as everyone checked up and got spun around trying to avoid Ben Dover, who first spun out. And then Connor Breton just came flying through and slammed into Mark Nutt. Goes for several rolls, and well, that's the end of that camera. Ron Young, who managed to escape from that crash, would lead the field down to the caution flag, or what was left of it. We are very worried for some of the drivers' conditions, particularly Mark Nutt, who got slammed in the driver's side door by a car going 140 miles an hour more than him, and then sent for several barrel rolls before being hit on his roof, in the window. He got hit everywhere. Not surprisingly, most of the field would come in under this pit stop to either repair damage, get tires, and a couple of the cars who didn't stop last time, like Ron Young and James Davis, also came in to get more fuel and tires. James Bond in the 007 car would lead the field back to the green flag, with Eric Cesar closely behind. Robert Moss is in 3rd, while Jacob Young is in 4th. Eric Cesar jumped to the inside, coming down into turn 1, and Eric Cesar would take the lead, at least momentarily, as now Robert Moss is trying to go for it. Oh, we've got more trouble. James Bond got into Eric Cesar there. Eric Cesar spun, got hit by Richard Trelinsky, and got slammed by Zachary Brown. Couple of really big hits for Eric Cesar, but miraculously that car was able to drive away. It does look like he will definitely go out of the race though. Meanwhile, coming through turn 2, James Davis would get spun by Dixie Normus as he came up the track. Luckily everyone would avoid him, and James Davis would gather his car back together before any further carnage occurred, as Penn Isman has just hit the wall, and we're 4 wide racing for around 10th place. Robert Moss in the 100 car would lead the field back to the green flag. Mason Wood is in 2nd, with Zach Hofschneider in the 01 car is the only car 1 lap down. Jacob Young making a big move on the inside there, trying to get a few positions. Now Mason Wood is going for the lead, and he will get it out of turn 2. Probably. They're bumping. Ooh. Okay, they're still racing down the backstretch. Mason Wood has the inside, which is of course the preferred line. And Mason Wood will take the lead definitely into turn 2. Coming through turn 3, Jacob Young, with some help from Kyle Pulanini in the 7 car, would get a run, and Jacob Young would lead that lap and would make the pass down into turn 1, as this is the first green flag run lasting more than a lap. At the end of the lap, Mason Wood, Kyle Pulanini, Dixie Normus, and James Bond would come into the pits to make their pit stops. Obviously, they think that this strategy may help them if the caution flag flies in the future, and this will put them back at the front if that does happen before the end of the race. The next lap, Shrimp Engrits, Zach Hofschneider, and Ron Young would all come into the pits and follow suit with the participants who came in the previous lap. The next lap, Robert Moss and Peter Saviano would do the same. Meanwhile, Leia Walker has gone to the inside of Jacob Young and is trying to make the pass down the front stretch. They have put a little bit of distance between them and the other cars that have not yet made their pit stops. Well, at least their final pit stops. And so this is basically just a 2-car battle for the lead. Jacob Young will hold it down the backstretch. He obviously held off the charge from Leia Walker down the front stretch. Jacob Young would take a very outside line through turn 3, and Leia Walker would take it, but Jacob Young would quickly dive to the bottom off of down the front stretch, and he would retake the lead. Eventually, the top 2 would catch up to the lap down car of Penn Isman, and Leia Walker would definitely have some problems getting by Penn Isman, as she would slide up the track coming into turn 3 and would get turned into the outside wall. Under this caution, the top 8 cars would all come in to the pits to make their final pit stops, as it looks like the pit strategy chosen by a lot of the other cars who made their stops under the green flag conditions paid off, as they are now the top few. On the restart with 14 laps to go, Kyle Pulanini would be the leader, with Mason Wood running in second. We have 3 cars 1 lap down: Penn Isman, Nathan Gibson, and Zach Hofschneider. Kyle Pulanini would clear the lap cars and take the lead down into turn 1. Mason Wood, with a lot of help from the lap car of Nathan Gibson, would get by Kyle Pulanini down the front stretch the next lap. Down into turn 1 though, Mason Wood would slide way up the track, and Nathan Gibson would think about making it 4 wide before backing off and staying behind Mason Wood. However, we do have a 3 wide battle for the lead right now, as Mason Wood, Dixie Normus, and Peter Saviano are going at it right now. It looks like Peter Saviano may be able to. They are all sliding up the track though, and we've got big trouble. Another example of how 4 wide doesn't work at this track occurred as the top 3 or 4 all went into the wall, spun out, and collected some of the cars just behind. James Davis, who took the lead in that 4 wide battle gone wrong, led the field back to the green flag with just 8 laps to go. Peter Saviano is immediately trying to get a run on James Davis going into turn 1. James Davis will hold it for now. And now Kyle Pulanini is trying to get to the inside of Peter Saviano, so James Davis will continue with the lead, at least down into turn 2. Well, now Kyle Pulanini still has a big run on the inside, and he might get to the inside of him down in turn 2 and take the lead. And it looks like he will do so, as we've got nearly another crash, and yes, we do have another one. As Peter Saviano is spun out, collecting James Bond, and oh, we've got big contact back there. After collecting James Bond, Dixie Normus, trying to avoid James Bond, had nowhere to go when Penn Isman and Spencer Fullerton would also be collected. Our points leader has engine damage and he will go out of the race. That horrendous crash would set up a 3-lap battle to the finish. As Kyle Palanini is in first, Shrimp Engritz is in second, James Davis is in third, as we have just 13 cars left on the track. James Davis is trying to get second here, but it will not be successful, as now Shrimp Engritz is trying to push Kyle Palanini off the track and take the lead. However, it doesn't look like he's going to be able to do so, and Kyle Palanini will keep the lead, at least down the straightaway between turn 1 and 2, and he will hold them off through turn 2 as well. Kyle Palanini, off of turn 2, coming to the white flag, would hit the wall, and this would let Jacob Young get to the inside and take the lead. We know Jacob Young has a quick car, as he and Leo Walker battled it out for the lead for several laps earlier on. As now Kyle Palanini is just hitting the wall again, and obviously any tires he had left were destroyed trying to keep the lead. Jacob Young currently holds the lead. Nathan Gibson right behind him is 1 lap down. I think that's his teammate. And James O'Shea is in second. Jacob Young has never won a race. This is his 43rd career HARC race. He's been in every single one, and he's still never won a race, but it looks like he may be able to do so today. Oh, he hits the wall. Nathan Gibson's off the track. That's not going to bring out a caution. Jacob Young still trying to hold on. As James O'Shea and Kyle Palanini and Ron Young. Oh, they crash in turn number 3. This is going to let Jacob Young finally come down the front stretch to take his first ever victory. On account of the crash happening right in front of him, down in turn 3, James Davis would come across second. He had a big run on Jacob Young, but just didn't have enough time to get a pass going on him. Shrimp Engritz would come across third. Robert Moss come across fourth, and Luke Walker would come across fifth.